Hello and welcome in, Magic Learners. Tales from the Pro Tour #1, Hunting the Japanese Player of the Years. People have asked for more stories, right? Do you want stories like this? They seem to be popular, so I'm gonna tell one of the more entertaining ones, which is when I was head hunting the Japanese Player of the Years. So, brief history. There's basically been four main okay, so every year in the Pro Tour, the best player is the Player of the Year. The more points they get. In Player of the Year history, there's been four periods, basically. The early period is a bit international, but John Finkel, American. Then there was the German period with Kai Buda. Then there was the Japanese period. Now we're in the modern period, where it's once again mostly fairly American. But the Japanese period, there was 5 straight Japanese players won Player of the Year. So the Japanese are really, really, really good. And this is my story of playing against them, randomly getting paired against them, and what went through my head, and some really funny situations that came up as a result. So, the first, well, let's go down the list. There's Tomohiro Saito. I'm not saying in order of when they won Player of the Year. There's Tomohiro Saito. There is Shuhei Nakamura. There is Shouta Yasuoka. There is Yuya Watanabe. And there is Kenji Samura. So I played against, we'll get to the story. First of all, I was paired against Tomohiro Saito, playing for top 8 of Grand Prix Oakland. This is probably the most memorable match of my Magic career. And I went into detail on this in my True Story of Living End. But basically, he was playing Hypergenesis, I was playing Living End. This is a really memorable match for multiple reasons, but it's one of the best played matches for me ever, because normally with Living End, you cycle when you have mana to cycle, but I didn't, because I wanted to surprise him. I was willing to set myself back because I knew that he didn't know, and I didn't want him to find out until it was too late what I was doing. So, ended up beating Tomohiro Saito in probably the best match I ever played, or one of the best matches I ever played. So bam, check Tomohiro Saito off the list. Here's the list, Japanese pro players. Then later on, I'm not sure if it was from this tournament. Anyway, I was in Amsterdam and I was playing draft, and it was the second day. I ended up going 5-1 in draft at this pro tour. Core set has always been my strength. But in the second day, I was paired against Shuhei, is that right? Shuhei Nakamura. And this isn't as nearly as memorable a match. I remember he was playing blue-black control, and he made some kind of mind game block. And I remember thinking, wow, there's a reason this guy's Player of the Year. He's just made one, like, real little play, like, where anyone else would have conceded, and he tried to make me screw up or something. I ended up winning this match as well with a green-red draft deck. So bam, Shuhei Nakamura crossed off, right? At this point, I'm not headhunting them. It's just I've gotten paired against them twice, right? Then, in Pro Tour Philadelphia, this is where we were playing Breach Post. Day 1, I got paired against Shouta Yasuoka, and this is that picture where I'm in a blue shirt. Shouta was playing, by the way, Shouta is known as the Japanese brewer, really amazing deck builder. But he was playing this, like, 5-color Aether Vial deck with Goyfs and Vendilion Clicks and Tide Hollow Scholar and Dark Confidant, and I was playing Through the Breach, Primeval Titan, Emrakul, and I remember I got very lucky in this match. Although I won in 2 games, he played Aven Mind Sensor in response to my Primeval Titan, which prevents me from searching for lands, but in the top 4 cards I just hit the lands that I needed and ended up Through the Breaching Emrakul and Ulamog. So, Shouta Yasuoka, luck-sacked him a little bit, bam. At this point, I've become aware that, wow, there's 5 Japanese Player of the Years. I've played against 3 and I've beaten all of them. Like, what if I play against all 5, right? And win. So, a little bit of time passes, and then I'm at Grand Prix Portland, which is like a week before the Pro Tour, or some Grand Prix. This is a Grand Prix that I scrubbed out of. But since the Pro Tour was the next week, and the next day, I was in a side event. Someone just handed me a deck and I jumped in. And the side event was full of pros who had scrubbed out of the Grand Prix right? And one of those pros was Yuya Watanabe was in this event, and it's going through my mind, oh my god, Yuya's here, I have my chance. When else am I going to be in an event, small event with Yuya? There's like 20 players in this. So Yuya is playing the new Gifts Ungiven deck. This is not new anymore, but you Gifts, and you get Unburial Rites and Iona, put them both in the graveyard, and Unburial Iona. At the time, it's like, does that even work? I've never seen that before. Yuya came up with the deck, I believe. But he was 0-3 in the event. He was dropped out of the Grand Prix and was 0-3 in the side event because it was a new deck. He's testing it out. And this is a really, really competitive event. I was 1-2 at this point because I had played again, and I had lost to the Chinese national champion and some Belgian pro. So it was like really competitive event. So round 4, Yuya is 0-3. I am 1-2, and we're sitting next to each other. And it's like, wow, so if Yuya wins, he goes to 1-3. And if I lose, I go to 1-3. So I want Yuya to win and I want to lose. This is a small side event. I have nothing to win from this tournament. It's way more important that I check Yuya off, right? Here's where things get interesting. My opponent no-shows. And the judge comes to award me the victory, right? And I'm like, hang on. Do I have to win, right? What's the judge ruling on this? Am I required to win against a no-show? Can I concede? Is it possible that my opponent doesn't show up and they still win? It's like, why do you want to do that? It's like, I just have my reasons, don't worry about it, right? Because it's way more important to play against Yuya. So the judge says, yeah, you can concede, right? And I hang around with the match slip. But unfortunately, what ends up happening is Yuya loses and goes to 0-4. So even if I lose, can't play against him. So I ended up taking the win, not playing against Yuya. Unfortunately, still have never played against Yuya. Time passes and I figure I'm never going to play against Yuya, and I'm never going to play against Kenji, because I'm not playing actively in these things anymore. I'm not on the Pro Tour. And even if we're at the same event, what are the odds we all get paired together, right? However, I'm doing a stream on Magic Online, and this is maybe 2013, and I get paired against Kenji, also known as Archer on Magic Online. I believe that's him. And unfortunately, I don't remember this match very well, but I remember I lost on stream. But spoiler, I ruined the ending. But it was like, oh my god, I'm paired against Kenji. Like, oh my god, I have to win. I have to check him off. How lucky am I? Ended up losing. And I don't remember the details of that match, but so I have played against 4 of the 5 Japanese Player of the Years, went 3-1, and then I still haven't played against Yuya, and I had that one chance, but that was the most interesting match, or interesting concession. It's like, can I concede against a no-show? Like, the opponent was 1-2 and didn't show up. It's like I'm here, right? So that's my story of headhunting Japanese Player of the Years. Pro Tour Tales number 1, you asked for it, you got it, and my question for you is, what else do you want to, do you like this? What do you think about this story? You think it's entertaining? I'll tell more stories like this. I've got a whole bag of them. Well, I don't know about a whole bag, but I have some of them, so I will come back and tell you more. Hope you enjoyed this.